Welcome back, everybody. We are working on function notation today. So let's start with what is function notation. Well, function notation is kind of like naming a function. It is showing there is exactly one output for every input. Y and function notation mean the same thing. It's just that function notation is saying I've passed the vertical line test. I have one output for every input. No x's are repeated. That kind of stuff. So this is f of x, or function of x. Evaluate f of x when x is equal to 2. So they're saying x is 2, which means this x becomes 2 and that x becomes 2. So f of 2 is negative 4 times 2 plus 7. Now we follow PEMDAS. We do our multiplying first. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Then negative 8 plus 7 is negative 1. So the answer to f of 2 is negative 1. Now they're telling us that x is equal to negative 2. So x is now negative 2. That means this x and this x both become negative 2. So f of negative 2 is equal to negative 4 times negative 2 plus 7. Now we are doing PEMDAS. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. So the answer to f of negative 2 is 15. Interpreting function notation. So we're talking about a function where the outside temperature in Fahrenheit, degrees Fahrenheit, T hours after 6 a.m. So what do each of these mean? Well, f of 0 was f of t. T hours after 6 a.m. So T here is 0 hours after 6 a.m. And the temperature outside is 58 degrees Fahrenheit. For f of 6. So T is 6. This is 6 hours after 6 a.m. because remember, T hours after 6 a.m. The outside temperature is N degrees Fahrenheit. And the last one, we have f of 3 is less than f of 9. Remember, this is T, or time, T hours after 6 a.m. So the temperature 3 hours after 6 a.m. is less than the temperature 9 hours after 6 a.m., which makes sense here in the desert. It's usually warmer as we progress through the day. So we would expect that it would be warmer at 3 p.m. than it would be at 9 a.m. You go ahead and try 6, 7, and 8. Pause the video and come back when you're ready. Solving for the independent variable. That means solving for x. What does x equal? So in number 9, they're telling us that h of x is negative 7. So this is negative 7. Find x. Find x. So we're solving, we're using backwards order of operations, SADMAP. We're going to add 5 to both sides to start getting x alone. Those add to 0. Negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. Remember, there's 2 ways to look at 2/5. This is either 2/5 or 2 divided by 5. If we're looking at it as 2 divided by 5, the opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. These 5 cross-reduce to 1. So 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. And we still have the 2 with the x. That makes our last step to solve for x to divide by 2 on both sides, and x is negative 5. Example 10. Now they're saying j of x is negative 4. So we're replacing j of x with negative 4. And again, we're solving for x, solving SADMAP. I would start with adding 2 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So we have negative 2 is equal to 1/3 x. Remember, we can say this is 1/3 or 1 divided by 3. The opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3 on both sides. So our 3's on the right cross-reduce to 1. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So x is equal to negative 6. We'd like you to try numbers 13 and 14, and this is where we're stopping for today. Have a great evening. We'll see you next class.